What is poppin', y'all, and welcome to the first official Yeet Inc. video. This channel is a project that I've been working on releasing for the past year and a half, and I decided that the start of 2021 is the best time that I could launch this YouTube channel. So if you like what you see here today, go ahead and like, subscribe, share with a friend or two, comment down below. With this channel launch, every action that y'all can give me to help support me is going to go such a long way. So thank you in advance. Doing both these things is free as well, so if you like what I'm putting out, there's not really a downside. We both benefit. There's so much that I want to tell you guys about this channel, about what I want to do, but since I've already taken up a good chunk of your time, I'm going to do that at the end of the video. For now, let's get into the meat and potatoes and what you guys are really here for, the VeggieTales stuff. Roll it! Alright everyone, welcome to the mess that is this video. I am your host yeetiej, and I am so glad to have y'all with me for the next few minutes. Now you already probably saw the title, but let me give you a brief summary of what I mean when I say the biggest plot holes. When I checked on Google, the definition for plot hole that I was given was this: an inconsistency in the narrative or character development of a book, film, television show, etc. Thank you, Google. Now, in no way do I mean when they reference stories in the Bible, because that would bring up certain issues about certain stories or events that are believed in Christianity. Someone out there may all have a video all about the plot holes of the Bible, but I am not that guy. I'm not focusing on plot holes in the biblical texts, because that's not my place, especially being a Christian myself. What I'm here to do is to find inconsistencies in other aspects of the show. Maybe actions, dialogue, accents of racially variant characters than are typical straight white tomatoes, maybe characteristics of characters, the namings of people, places, and things, really anything that isn't Bible specific. And my friends, you can trust me when I say there are a lot to pick up from. But for now, let's just pick 3. Yes, you did read that right. Now, some of you are probably going to go into the comments saying, yeetiej, that's a stretch. Can we really say that there's some vegetable action going on in these episodes? Yes, I realized what I just said. Don't make it dirty. I see you, you nasties. But there is already evidence from shows like VeggieTales in the House, VeggieTales in the City, where they do show that. But there's an important thing to remember about that. VeggieTales in the House and VeggieTales in the City are mistakes God forgot, and we should as well. So I'm not going to use them. I will, however, use a song, a silly song, called The 8 Polish Foods of Christmas. Now, this is a song that parodies the famous Christmas song, I'm sure you can already guess, Jingle Bell. No, the 12 Days of Christmas. This was originally released in the CD A Very Veggie Christmas all the way back in 1996, but it was re-released as a full-on silly song in the VeggieTales movie The Little Drummer Boy. In this song, the Veggie crew is fed 8 foods by Oscar, the man who is hired to cater this party. Oscar, as most of you can probably guess, is Polish. So these are 8 foods that are coming from Poland, which is why he knows how to make them, why he's bringing them, why he caters that food. But I'm going to list all of these foods, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce them right, so I'm going to have Google Translate print out some of these, which, for those of you who are Polish, who speak Polish, who know these foods in general, I'm sorry. I'm just not brave enough to mess up these foods that badly. So I'm going to go ahead and recite what these foods are, as if it were the 8th and final day, and I'll say I won't say the amounts. That's just kind of useless. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's 8 of this, 3 of that. The problem's still going to arise where the problem arises. So, poppy seed cakes, pitted prunes, fried
chruściki,
smoked kielbasas, baked paprikas, simmered So let's break that down. First, let's get rid of all of the unproblematic foods. My chefs, foodies, Polish friends out there already might know where I'm going, but don't get ahead of me. This is my video. So let's start by getting rid of poppy seed cakes, fried,
chruściki,
smoked kielbasas, and steamed pierogies. And here's why they're unproblematic. They're completely, or at least enough for me to not look into it any further, dependent on vegetables or fruits to be the food that they are. These are all meat or dough products, so they're not going to be problematic in the sense of where I'm going with this video. With that aside, let's take a look at the other four. So, pitted prunes and potatoes with dillweed, they have the same downfall. One's a fruit and one's a vegetable. Sure, we haven't seen plums or potatoes in VeggieTales. Sure, but they're still vegetables, they're still fruits. While they may not be characterized in the actual episodes that we see, it's still a problem. They still could have the possibility of existing somewhere within that universe just from the classifications that they are. So I'm going to let it slide because the next two that we're looking at are worse. So these two have the same problem. So let's take them one at a time. First, paprikas. All of the information that I'm going to be getting is going to be listed at the end of the video. But this specifically is from the VeggieTales wiki, the ingredients at least. So I'm going to show the ingredients on screen, and I'm going to highlight the ones that are problematic. So let's just read these ingredients first. Just various meats, rice, eggs, spices, salt, peppers, and tomato. And capsicums are another type of pepper, so I just lumped that in with peppers. So let's look at the ones that I highlighted in green and red, which are the only colors that I highlighted them in hindsight. Great job, me, while writing the script. I would have done a yellow, but there wasn't any foods that were on any type of fence, so I didn't need to use yellow, which is sad, but you know, green and red still work. It's still close enough to Christmas. So, starting with the green, there's no VeggieTale characters that are meat, rice, eggs, spices, or salt. And I'm saying spices as in an actual physical spice, something that is already spiced. We're not talking about, say, what they were before they got minced up into powder. But let's go to the red, peppers and tomatoes. Are there any characters that, I don't know, come to mind when you hear tomatoes or peppers? There are a few for me, so let's go ahead and put them up on screen right now.
gołąbki,
Meat, rice, barley, cabbage, and onions. So onions this time are the only problematic ones, because there are a lot of characters that are onions. So I'm going to put those on screen. So all of these pictures of characters that I put on the screen for both of those foods have personalities, identities, and vegetable fruit standings. Yet somehow they think that they can get away with incorporating those same foods as actual edible food in that conceptual universe. Would it not then be safe to assume that eating said foods would make them cannibalistic, or at the very least, absolutely sick, twisted, and demented? Maybe it just makes them kinky. Once again, wild topic choice, I know, but bear with me. And I will once again be excluding biblical events, just as an FYI. Let's look, though, at some of the events that happen both in our universe and in what I'm going to call the Veggieverse, as well as what's being referenced. These are coming from a top 10 ranked VeggieTales episodes, which is all an opinion of someone else based on the internet. This is not my personal opinion, but that's not an issue for this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at these references in these episodes. So now we're going to take a look at some of these references up close. I'm going to group a couple of these off, just to help make it easier. So first, let's take Sharper Image Beauty, Toys R Us, and Play-Doh. Now these are all in real life brands and companies being used within the Veggieverse in the same context and same purpose as in real life. Nick Jr., Three Stooges, Garfield. Media that is being shown and I guess cosplayed kinda in the same way as it is in real life, in certain aspects really far removed. But most importantly, Jackson 5 and Abraham Lincoln. Now these are humans within our universe who were historical figures or influential media figures that impact our aspects of the universe in different ways than another, obviously. I mean, Abraham Lincoln and Jackson 5 did not do the same things, but in this context, they fulfill a similar role. So, with all of that being said, how much of this Veggieverse overlaps with our own? And more importantly, but also purely hypothetically, can a show like this prove any type of a multiverse theory, where there are an infinite amount of universes happening at the same time as ours? And in this universe, VeggieTales are able to have species superiority in the same way humans do here. And the reason that we know about this is because instead of Phil Vischer maybe coming up with this idea, maybe in his mind there was some kind of revelation where talking vegetables in some other version of our universe exist, and Phil Vischer just one day had this idea that popped into his head, and he brought it and its concepts into our world. Oh man, I need to find a new hobby. So you're probably looking at your computer or your phone or your tablet or your TV, wherever you're watching this right now, saying to yourself, yeetiej, what an absolutely dumb question. What could you possibly mean? Why would you ask the most vague question ever and expect me as a viewer to even get a semblance of a clue as to what you might be rambling on about with your tinfoil hat on in your office? To which I say, quit yelling, it hurts your throat. Also, sit down and let me tell you. Let's start by looking at the name of the show, VeggieTales. There's two parts, Veggie and Tales, and we're not here to dispute anything against Tales, simply because there's nothing wrong with it. All of these stories are indeed tales. What we're here to talk about, though, is that first bit, Veggie. Now, this is probably a point that if anyone has talked about the show in this type of length and this type of extent, first of all, why? But second of all, they're probably going to bring up this point. But I'm going to say it again. If you're calling a show VeggieTales, how come there's non-vegetable characters in this show? Now let's go beyond the is the tomato a fruit or a vegetable argument, because that's such an annoying argument. Let's instead take a look at some of the characters in the show that aren't vegetables. Pa Grape and the Grape Clan, the Blind Lemon, Madame Blueberry. At one point, there's a humanoid toy, Buzzsaw Louie, just chilling. So why call a show VeggieTales if there's not vegetables in it? So what I'm going to do, because I'm such a generous and giving person, let's jump into the hypotheticals. Let's rename this show. And I've got a couple ideas, and I know that they won't work, but there's one that I think will. So let's get past the bad ideas first. Let's get past the ideas that I already know wouldn't work. Fruit Tales. The exact same argument that I'm trying to make would apply here. If we call it Fruit Tales, there's so many vegetable characters that aren't fruits, just wouldn't work. Also, we would still see that is the tomato a fruit or a vegetable argument, and I don't want to get into that. So, for sake of inclusivity, I have to include this one. But this one, this title is so long. If you think that I'm going to go up to my friends and say, hey, have you guys seen the new episode of Fruit and VeggieTales? First of all, I'm not talking like that in public. But second of all, I'm not wasting that much energy saying the name of a show. So pass. Next. So Food Tales doesn't encompass what the show's really about. Sure, there's a bunch of food on the show, the fruits and the vegetables. But there is also Buzzsaw Louie. And it just doesn't have that same appeal. So that leaves the question, is there a name that really fits this show? And the answer is a resounding kinda. At the end of the day, it all is about marketing. What's a name idea that not only sums up what type of show that they are, but sounds catchy and is going to be able to sell merchandise, is going to be able to be a name brand that people are going to remember. It also needs to fit the demographics of the people who are watching those shows. First, children who want to watch animated cartoons. And for some reason, they either aren't allowed to or they just don't watch other name brand franchises like Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, hell, PBS. But the other demographic being the people who would buy these movies, these episodes for these children, whether that be your soccer moms, your Sunday school teachers, whoever it may be. But luckily for you all, I'm a marketing genius and a visionary. So I have an idea that can solve this problem, rock everyone's socks off. So here we go. Stock drum roll, please. Healthy Tales. This encapsulates not only the idea that most of these foods are stereotypically healthier, better for you, whatever, but also that the stories are healthy for the soul. See, I brought it all back around. Spiritual health is so important to VeggieTales, as shown by the Bible stories and the stories about morals that you're being taught in just about every VeggieTales episode that exists. So, a title like Healthy Tales might fit the show better. And those two aspects that I'm hitting are already topping the one that VeggieTales has. So, in my humble opinion, Healthy Tales might be the new hip thing to once again give life to VeggieTales. So, what's my point in all this? Am I trying to get Big Idea Entertainment to change the name of their show? And the answer is absolutely not. No, that's so dumb. VeggieTales is already way too successful of a brand to just throw away for one name change after being around for, over 10,000 days? All the way back from 1991, July 10th, when they launched Take 38 VeggieTales promo. Yes, I did my research. A brand change now, to change nothing more than the name of the show, would be so stupid in every single way. Now, my actual point with this big spiel is, big idea, if you got another show idea and you need a name, come talk to your boy. Business email in the description. That's all I got for you guys. So thanks to all of you who made it this far. If you did, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. If you want to, share it with a buddy or two. This has been neat. It's been a real treat. But I'm Beat, and I'm a Yeet Inc. This is yeetiej signing off. Deuces. Hey everybody, this is post-video editor yeetiej, from the start of the video, where I told you guys to like, subscribe, and that I was excited for this channel, and I really am, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about at the end. So, as you can probably tell, there's still a good bit of this video to go, so bear with me. I promise that it's important, not just for y'all to hear, but for me to tell you and be real with you. I've been wanting to make this into a dedicated channel for a little over a year now, and this really is my first attempt of putting my own voice and my own style into the world like this. So the fact that you watched and made it this far really does mean the world to me. So thank you to y'all who made it here. So let's get down to the actual business. There's 4 major things that I want to share with y'all, and I'll let you guys resume your lives after that. Legally, you know I can't keep you here, but for the sake of what I needed to say, please? So, being real with y'all, I am by no means a research expert, video editing genius, or God forbid, a YouTube professional. I'm a college student with a spare time, a Scarlet interface, and a MacBook Pro. So if you're expecting some kind of god tier quality, this is not the place for you. At least not yet. I'm also putting this out there that this is not a career for me, nor do I see it becoming a career. This is just for me to have fun, for me to do. I want to do these when I can and when I want to, but I'm continuing to study. I mean, I'm a college student and trying to work in ministry, and I'm trying to work in school, and that's not YouTube oriented, at least not from a Yeet INC standing. Being in school also presents a challenge that recording, researching, and making all of these isn't going to happen when I'm deep in the trenches of school and work. So please just give me some time. Uploads aren't probably going to be consistent, but be patient. I will pack these videos with so much content and conspiracies that the wait will be hopefully worth it. And when I do have tons of free time, just stacked with free time, like I am now before school starts in the new year, I'm going to be trying to make, research, edit, do these videos so that there's more than just this one video on my channel. Because the whole point of a channel isn't just to have one video that you release on January 1st and then never do anything with again. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, I'm still trying to find my footing as far as the legality of fair use. With all of YouTube's copyright, fair use, and demonetization laws, when demonetization is something that will actually apply to me sometime within the next 10 years, I want to make sure that all of the content I make is compliant with YouTube, the government, and the media that I choose to include in the future. So the reason that I'm telling you this is to put out a plea. If there's anyone who's an expert in this, YouTubers, lawyers, musicians that put media regularly out on the internet, who happen to be watching this video for some reason, please help me. Hit me up. Tell me what you can. Let me know what's okay, what's not. Where to take risks, what I can and can't do. Just all of that, because I need that help in order for this channel to survive. Point number 3. This channel's for me, for the content that I want to make. I'm doing this because I love having an excuse to geek out over my favorite movies, my favorite TV shows, and just do some crappy video editing, some voice recording, some researching, just to distract myself from the real world or to vent out some of my emotions. But even though this is a channel that I'm doing for me, I'm putting it out publicly, which means that it's for all of you as well. Call it attention seeking, call it harassing businesses, call it the joy that I get from confusing people with points in VeggieTales that make no sense. It doesn't really matter to me. I just want to see if there's anyone out there who enjoys this type of stuff, which is why I'm putting it out publicly. So, with the precaution of I want to enjoy what I do, I would love to do any show, movie, franchise that you all might want to see me cover, want to see me research and do. So I'm leaving links to all of my social medias in this end card. I'm leaving links to my business email. I'm leaving links to a Google form where you can put all this stuff in. And you can make this anonymous. You can put a name to it. I won't mention it anywhere, but I mean, I just want to know what direction to go in. If VeggieTales is the only thing that I should do for a bit, if I should do something else. What do you guys want to see? Let me know. Email, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google form. Links are in the description, so please feel free to reach out. And the last thing that I'm going to say is this. I don't want my face and my name in real life to be associated with this channel. That's just not something that I want to do for the sake of I want this to be separate from the person I am in the United States. I don't want the identity that I have to be part of Yeet Inc. I want Yeet Inc. and yeetiej to be their own entities. So I'm not putting my face to this. I'm not putting my name to this, at least not right now. So for those of you who stumbled onto this video, who can recognize my voice or know who I am in real life, out of respect for me, I'm asking a favor. Please leave my name and my face separate from this channel. Let this be just yeetiej. Let this just be Yeet Inc. That's my plea to you guys who know me in the real world. So, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, links for everything down in the description, as well as links and sources for everything that I used in those 3 points that I used up in the last bit of the video. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.